The Coureurs de Bois were the first men to leave the settlements in New France. They were called runners of the woods and were a group of adventurous men who spent long periods of time with the First Nations. The Coureurs de Bois learned to speak the First Nations language and how to make birch bark canoes and many other skills needed to survive in the woods. Coureurs de Bois were lured into the fur trade with the promise of adventure, freedom, and money. Their main interest was fur trapping, but they also acted as guides and interpreters to French traders. Etienne Barral was one of the first Coureurs de Bois and lived with the Wendat. He learned all he could from the Wendat and explored their territory along the Ottawa River and Georgian Bay. He gained an appreciation for their way of life and practiced their customs. Pierre Radisson and Sieur de Groseillers were two of the most adventurous Coureurs de Bois. Radisson lived with the Mohawk and learned to speak their language and survive in the woods. Radisson took de Groseillers on a trading trip, and they went deep inland to Lake Superior, where no European had been before. The First Nations welcomed Radisson and de Groseillers, and their knowledge of fur country grew. Along the way, the men gave French names to lakes, rivers, mountains, and settlements, and claimed these lands for France. France was an imperial country. This meant that France wanted to gain control over land, exploit the natural resources, and use the money to build their military forces. As the French explored North America, they claimed ownership of the land. They did not discuss land ownership with the First Nations. The First Nations did not see land as something that was owned. They believed it was for all to use and should be shared by everyone. Although the colony of New France expanded, most colonists settled along the St. Lawrence River.